Hi, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So on this video we're going to make a start on filling out the rest of the void on GUI, and we're going to begin here right at the very top of the function. And the first thing we're going to do is create an if block that will manage our button delay. So we'll begin by saying if open and close brackets will open and close again. Let's come inside this first set of brackets and we're going to say time dot delta time. We're going to use the greater than and the equals symbol, and we're going to say underscore time delay. Then we'll use double and. We'll open and close brackets, we'll come inside again, input, and we want dot and get button down. We'll open and close again. In fact, we'll just use the get button. That should be more than adequate for this piece of code. So inside this new set of brackets, speech marks, and we're going to say fire 1. And let's get this into the comments. So we'll say if time is greater than or equals our time delay, and let's in fact put this in capitals. We'll say and input equals fire 1, and in fact we'll write that out as we would do in the code. Let's come inside the function now and we'll say start core routine. We'll open and close brackets, we'll close the line off. Inside here we'll put the little speech marks, and what we want is the main menu button press. So let's just copy that and we'll paste that in. Let's get that into the comments. We'll just say then start, and let's paste that naming convention in again and just put function. Let's come below now, underscore time delay equals time dot delta time, and we want plus, and this time we'll say underscore time between button press. Let's close that line off. And let's get this into the comments, and we'll say and then make time delay equal time. In fact, let's put current time plus time between button press. So obviously we're using a core routine to manage our selected button. So if both these conditions are met, so the time is greater or equal to our time delay, we can start the core routine that, as I said, manages our selected button, or the button we are trying to select with the controller, and then we just make it equal to the time between button press. So this is just a way of resetting the timer, and that way it takes a second just to be able to move between each button. Now if I come back up to the top here, a second may be too much. It may feel quite sluggish. Maybe a value of 0.5 would be maybe a better place to start. I'm going to keep it at 1 for now, just for testing. But if we didn't do it in this way, when we pressed up or down on the controller, it would cycle through the buttons so quickly it would be impossible to actually pick any button apart from the top and the bottom one. In fact, wrong one. So you would have a real problem in selecting a middle button. So, and as I said, because we are going to add more buttons at a later date, such as a button to access an options menu, that's the reason for this piece of code being necessary. So this needs to come right at the very top of the function. Next, we need to draw the main menu background, which we're already doing. And then we need to create a GUI group for the buttons themselves. So we'll start with GUI dot, and what we want is begin group. So we'll open brackets here and we'll say new rect. And we'll open brackets and we're going to say screen dot width divided by 2 minus underscore, and we want main menu button width divided by 2. So we'll put a comment there, and in fact I'm going to break this line up. So I'm going to enter here after the second open bracket. So if we didn't have this part of the line, it would begin drawing at half the screen width, which means the button would be slightly to the right. So to get it to appear exactly in the center of the screen, we need to move it back by half its width, which is what we're doing. And then we can say screen, and what we want is dot height, and I'm going to say divided by 1.5f. Now I've had a little experiment. I tend to use this as a starting value when I make my projects, but I really do advise you to experiment with this value to find one that suits the way your main menu is being displayed. And that of course goes for the width as well. Maybe you've got a picture that starts here in the bottom corner and goes round the actual screen, maybe from the bottom corner up to the top here and across, and maybe you want your buttons here. So by all means experiment till you find something that you're happy with. But this is where I'm going to put mine, just for the purposes of this tutorial series. So I'm going to enter there, and yeah, I'm going to break all this line up. This is all one line, but I'm just breaking it up for commenting. So we'll say underscore main menu button width, comma, underscore main menu button height. We're going to say times 3, because we've got 3 buttons for the moment. When we add another button, i.e. our options button, this will become 4, and so on, depending on how many buttons we are adding. But because we have 3 at the moment, we'll use a value of 3. And then we're going to say plus, and what we want is the main menu GUI offset, and this time it's times 2. And we need to close brackets twice and close the line off. So this represents the gap between the buttons. So it's always one less than what we have here. So you can imagine 3 buttons, we've only got 2 spaces between those 3. And that's how that line works. So let's get this into the comments now. So the first part we'll just say begin GUI group. You can put for the buttons if you wish, or something along those lines, but I'll just leave it at that. The next line will say at this position and X. Next line, the same thing at this position, but this time on the Y. Next line, we'll say by this dimension X, and the same thing again by this dimension on the Y. And what we'll do now is actually come, and I'm going to enter a few times, and we'll actually close that group in this lesson. We'll say GUI dot, and we want end group. We'll open and close brackets and close the line off. Now this gap in between is where we're going to create the buttons themselves, but let's just put the comment in for this line. We'll say end GUI group, and we're going to create another if block at the bottom. So we'll say if open and close brackets, only need to do it the once this time, and we'll say underscore PS4 controller double equals true. And then we need to, if I get the right symbol, so it's 2 vertical bars. And yes, I sometimes get the wrong symbol because I actually use an American keyboard, even though I'm based in the UK. So I have to switch the functionality backwards and forth. So if you ever wonder why I sometimes get the wrong symbol at first in these videos, that's the reason why. But these double vertical bars mean OR encoding. So, and you know, it's fairly simple. We've just used the 2 and symbols. This means OR. And then we'll say Xbox controller double equals true. We'll come and we'll put that into the comments. So we'll say if PS4 controller or, and in fact I'll put or in capitals as well, or Xbox controller equals true. We'll come to the next line, we'll say GUI dot, and we want focus control. We'll open and close brackets, we will close that line off. Let's come inside these brackets now. We're going to say, and we want the main menu buttons, and then we're going to open and close these sort of square type of bracket. And we're going to come inside here and we're going to say underscore selected button. So let's get that into the comments, and we'll say then focus equals main menu selected button, which is exactly what this line does. And I know a lot of you may be unfamiliar with focus control, and I really do advise you to look this up on the Unity website. But as you can see in the summary, move keyboard focus to a name control. Well, we're not using a keyboard, we're using a controller. And we're just saying to the GUI, focus on the main menu buttons, but specifically the selected button, because that's the one we want to highlight when we want to know what button within the main menu buttons where we have currently selected, and we do that as normal with a highlight. So that's exactly what this line does. So I hope you all understand how this works now. As I said, we still have the buttons to create. We have to create buttons again a little bit differently, simply because this is a controller only game. So yes, we'll do that in the next lesson, the creating of the buttons themselves. But I hope you all understand now how these blocks of code work. However, if you are unsure, as I said, please leave a comment below, or you can message me. I'm perfectly happy then to try and respond and hopefully answer any queries you may have. But as regards things like focus control, I always advise reading up on the Unity website. But as I said, I think we'll leave it here for now. We'll create the buttons and we'll actually test out what we've done so far in the next video. But I'll leave it here for now. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.